production line, and Caro here, she's hand loading some Rahal switches for the mastering version of George's famous 8200 equalizer, which the mastering version is called the 9500. And it's mega expensive because you see all this handwork that she's having to do here, which is soldering these expensive Rahal switches onto the board there. And anything that's in the GML or Manley production that's hand soldered by people, that's done here. Anything that's loaded up by machines is not done here. We had a wave solder machine. It just our unit was too old and stupid, and we decommissioned it and let people with newer and better machinery do a better job of that stuff. A wave solder machine is when it's this big conveyor belt thing, and you stuff all your parts on the board, and you slide the board into the conveyor belt, and it travels through, and it's going to hit a tank of molten solder that's melted, and there's an air stone in it, and it kicks up a little bitty blip, like a little wave in the tank. The board's going to just flow right over, to travel right over that wave and solder everything at one time. That's what a wave solder machine is. And sorry, we can't show you one here anymore. So that does the job a lot faster, of course, because you're soldering all those components on the board at one time. As opposed to what Caro's doing here, she's just putting one thing on at a time. Or soldering one thing at a time. The other kind of technology with PC boards, printed circuit boards, is called surface mount componentry, and that's the parts are put on the board by a robot, because they're really little. I mean, some of the parts, you can't even see them. They're so small. And so a robot goes and sticks all the parts on the board, pulls off the reels of capacitors, resistors, and there's tiny buggers, and they go, and they're put on with like a little glue so they don't all fall off the board when you pick it up. And then that board is put into a what they call a reflow oven, and actually, to make a short story, it's heated up and all the solder melts and sticks all the parts to the board to simplify that process. And so that involves real big machinery and stuff. We don't do that here either. Some things that we make have surface mount parts on it, like this equalizer here. You'll see that there's, you look at the boards. Carl, can you pass the board around? You can pass this board around. You can see there's a mixture of surface mount and through-hole parts. Through-hole means the leads go through the board. Surface mount means that the parts are tacked on the board and soldered by that reflow thing we talked about. So in that case, those resistors are really excellent parts. Like they're technically really quiet resistors, and in a lot of cases they're better than their through-hole friends, something like that. They don't have these long leads, so you wouldn't be having all these extra inductances and things picked up by the legs of the part. So in a lot of cases, surface mount parts are really great to work with. But they a lot of times don't, for tube here, they're not going to have appropriate wattage or maybe a high enough capacitor value in that type of construction. So we use surface mount parts where they can be used really great, like selecting in an equalizer, and there's no big watts dissipated, and you're selecting your frequencies or your attenuation levels. That's a great place to use them. And it's so much more effective to build that board surface mount than putting all the little resistors on the switch and soldering them one by one. It takes like an hour to do. Dan, pick it up. I gotta tell Sydney's bank that yes, it's okay.
Okay.